She texted, "Can't make it tonight. Something came up." For the sixth time this month I replied, "No problem at all." Then I used Find My iPhone to see where something actually was. Her ex-boyfriend is apartment complex. The flowers I had delivered there with the breakup card attached made her panic. I am 35. Male. I had been with Jessica for about 18 months. We weren't married, but we had been talking about moving in together. She had her place. I had mine. It seemed like the natural next step. We had discussed leases. We had looked at neighborhoods. I had even started mentally arranging furniture in a hypothetical shared living room. Until last month. When the cancellation started, it wasn't a sudden stop, it was a slow fade. First time, "Sorry babe, work emergency. My boss is spiraling, rain check." Second time, "Mom is not feeling well, need to check on her. She sounds really down." Third time, "Migraine came out of nowhere, I am going to lay in the dark." Fourth, fifth, and tonight the sixth time this month, "Can't make it tonight. Something came up." Each time I would reply with some variation of "no problem" or "feel better" or "let me know if you need anything." I wanted to be the supportive partner, the low-maintenance boyfriend who understands that life gets busy. But tonight, sitting alone at the restaurant I booked for our anniversary dinner, staring at her latest cancellation text, something just clicked. The restaurant was nice. Candlelight, soft jazz, couples holding hands at every other table, and there I was. One empty chair opposite me, a bottle of expensive wine breathing on the table. The waiter had just poured the first glass. Jessica and I shared locations on our phones. We started it when she went on a work trip last year and wanted me to know she landed safely. She never turned it off. I honestly rarely checked it. I trusted her. But something came up is vague. It is lazy. I opened Find My iPhone. The map loaded. The blue dot pulsed. There she was, not at work, not at her mom's house in the suburbs, not at home nursing a migraine in the dark. She was at Riverside Apartments. I knew that complex. Her ex-boyfriend Brandon lived there. The ex she swore she had zero contact with. The ex who meant nothing to her anymore. The ex she claimed was toxic and part of her past. I sat there for a good 5 minutes watching that little dot stay perfectly still at his building. I zoomed in. It was right over building C. Brandon is building. The waiter came back. He looked concerned. "Sir, is everything okay? Is your guest arriving soon?" I looked at the empty chair. I looked at my phone. "No," I said. "She isn't coming, just the check for the wine, please." I paid the bill. I walked out into the cool night air. I felt a strange mix of anger and clarity. The confusion was gone. The supportive boyfriend was gone. On my way home, I passed a flower shop that was still open. It was closing in 10 minutes. I had an idea. One of those ideas that comes fully formed, like my brain had been working on it without telling me. I pulled over. I walked in. The florist was sweeping up. "I need a bouquet delivered tonight," I told her. "To Riverside Apartments." "Tonight, sir, we are closing. That is a rush delivery. It will be extra." "That is fine," I said, taking out my card. "I will pay double, but it has to be tonight, and I need a card attached." A specific message. Update 1. The Trojan Horse. The florist raised an eyebrow at the message I wrote down, but hey, money talks. I told them to deliver to the main office with instructions to call Brandon Tillman, his unit, for pickup. I gave them his unit number. The bouquet, 2 dozen red roses. Beautiful, romantic, expensive. The card, "Jessica, since you keep having something come up, I figured I would save you the trouble of making excuses. We are done. Enjoy your evening with Brandon. P.S. Your location sharing is still on. Might want to fix that. Grant." I paid extra for delivery confirmation and a photo of the recipient. Then I went home and did something I should have done weeks ago. I started connecting dots. Her phone was always face down lately. She had been working late, a lot, but her paychecks hadn't shown any overtime. She had mentioned that, casually complaining about her salary, but I hadn't put 2 and 2 together. She had been weird about making plans, always wanting to play it by ear. She had stopped posting us on social media. My phone exploded about 40 minutes later. The delivery must have been made. Jessica calling. Declined. Jessica calling. Declined. Text, Grant, please answer. Text, it is not what you think. Text, the flowers were delivered to the wrong place. Text, I am at my mom is. Please just let me explain. I stared at the I am at my mom is text. She was doubling down on the lie even after I called her out on the location sharing. That is a special kind of bold. I turned off read receipts and went to bed. Well, tried to. Mostly I laid there thinking about how I had been planning to ask her to move in next month. I had already been looking at bigger places with 2 bathrooms because she hates sharing a sink. Thank God for Find My iPhone, I guess. It saved me a lease and a lot of heartache. Next morning, I checked her location. She was at her apartment. Then I checked Brandon's Instagram. We weren't friends, but his profile was public. New story posted at 2 a.m. a photo of red roses in a vase on a coffee table. No caption, just a thinking emoji. The balls on this guy. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was mocking me. Jessica showed up at my apartment around 10 a.m. I watched through the doorbell camera as she stood there for 20 minutes knocking periodically, calling my name. Her eyes were red, makeup smeared. She had clearly been up all night. Grant, I know you are in there. Your car is here. Please just give me 5 minutes. I stayed quiet. I drank my coffee. Eventually she left. Then the texts from her friends started. These are what psychologists call flying monkeys. People recruited by a manipulator to fight their battles for them. She had spun them a story. Megan, what did you do to Jessica? She is hysterical. Vanessa, seriously, flowers with a breakup note, that is cold, even for you. Sarah, Jessica made a mistake, but she loves you. Do not throw away something good over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. That is what they were calling it. I replied to Vanessa since she was the most reasonable of the bunch. Me. Misunderstanding. She was at her ex's apartment when she was supposed to be at our anniversary dinner. Her location showed her there for 3 hours. What exactly am I misunderstanding? Vanessa. She was just talking to him. He has been going through stuff. Me. Ah, yes. The kind of talking that requires canceling 6 dates in a month. Got it. She didn't reply. Update 2. The siege. Jessica ramped up her efforts. She started showing up at my work. Security wouldn't let her in, badge required. But she waited in the lobby for 4 hours. My coworkers were eating this up, watching through the glass doors as she sat there with a coffee cup looking tragic. Do just talk to her, my colleague Rob said. She looks destroyed. She looked pretty comfortable at Brandon's place 2 nights ago, I said. Maybe there is an explanation. Rob, what explanation makes this okay? Please, I am dying to hear it. He didn't have one. Finally went down at lunch, mainly because my boss was starting to give me looks about the distraction in our lobby. Grant, he said, handle your personal business offsite, please. Jessica jumped up when she saw me. Grant, thank God, please just listen. You have 2 minutes, and we are talking right here in public. She glanced around at the people pretending not to watch. Can we at least go outside? 1 minute 50 seconds. Okay. Brandon texted me last month. His dad died. He was struggling, needed someone to talk to. So talk on the phone, call 911. Call his mom. Call literally anyone except the girlfriend who swore she had no contact with him. I was trying to help. He was really messed up. Grant, drinking, talking about doing something stupid. By canceling 6 dates. By lying about where you were. By sneaking around. I knew you would react like this. I actually laughed. It was a dark, bitter laugh. You knew I would react badly to you lying and sneaking around with your ex, so you lied and snuck around with your ex. Brilliant logic, Jess. It wasn't like that. Nothing happened. We were just talking. Here is the thing. I do not care if you were talking, playing Scrabble, or conducting a seance to speak to his dead father. You lied 6 times minimum. You chose him over us, over and over. We are done. Grant, please. Time is up. I walked back inside. She stood there for another hour before security asked her to leave. That evening Brandon called me. The audacity of this man. Bro, you need to chill, he started. We aren't bros. You are the guy sneaking around with my girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, he corrected. And I wasn't sneaking. Jessica was being a good friend. A good friend who lies to her boyfriend to hang out with her ex. You got an interesting definition of friendship. Look, man, Jessica and I have history. Sometimes people need closure. Closure takes 6 secret meetings. Why are you closing a mortgage? You are being a dick. She chose you, didn't she? No, Brandon, she chose you 6 times this month. I just made it official. Whatever, man, your loss. Funny thing about that, I can see her location right now. Guess where she is? Silence on the line. That is right. Your apartment, again. Tell me more about how she chose me. He hung up. Update 3. The escalation. The entitlement escalated dramatically over the next few days. Jessica's mom Diane called me. Now I had always liked Diane. Thought she was reasonable. I was wrong. Grant's sweetheart Jessica explained everything. This is all a big misunderstanding. Diane, I respect you, but there is no misunderstanding. She lied multiple times. She was at her ex's apartment. She was trying to help that boy. You know, Jessica has a big heart. She has such a big heart she forgot about our anniversary to comfort her ex. People make mistakes. You are going to throw away your whole future over this. What future? One where she runs to Brandon every time he has a problem. Where I am wondering if something came up means she is with him. That future. You are being cruel. That stunt with the flowers was humiliating. Humiliating was sitting alone at an anniversary dinner while she was at another man's apartment. He is going through a loss. His father died. Diane, I Googled the obituary. So either Brandon is lying to Jessica or Jessica is lying to you. Joseph Tillman died in August 2019, 5 years ago. Look it up yourself. Long pause. Then she hung up. Guess she looked it up. Then came the financial entitlement. See, Jessica and I had been planning a vacation. Cabo next month. I had paid for the whole thing. Flights, hotel, excursions, about $3,800 total. She was supposed to pay me back her half, but things were tight and I had said no rush. Text from Jessica. I know we are not together, but that vacation is non-refundable. We should still go as friends. As friends. The nerve, me. Already changed the reservation to a single occupancy. Thanks for reminding me to cancel your ticket. Jessica, you cannot do that. I was going to pay you back, me. When? After your next secret meeting with Brandon. Jessica. That is my vacation too. I need this trip, me. Then book your own. Cabo is not going anywhere. Jessica, I cannot afford it right now, me. Sounds like a you problem. She sent 18 more texts about how I was stealing her vacation. I didn't respond to any of them, but here is where it gets good. Her friend Megan decided to start a rumor that I had been controlling and abusive, and that is why Jessica had to seek comfort elsewhere. She posted some vague nonsense on social media about supporting friends leaving toxic relationships, with Jessica is crying emoji reaction. This is called DARVO. Shutterstock deny attack and reverse victim and offender. She was trying to flip the script. She cheated, but she wanted to be the victim. So I did something petty. Maybe too petty, but I was done with the high road. I posted the screenshot. The Find My iPhone map showing Jessica at Brandon's apartment. Timestamp clearly showing our anniversary dinner time. Caption. When you think she is at work, but Find My helps you find out where she really is. PSA, if you are going to cheat, turn off location sharing. The comments exploded. Mutual friends who had been getting Jessica's version suddenly had questions. Lots of questions. Jessica called me screaming. You posted our private business. You ruined my reputation. No, Jessica, you ruined your reputation. I just provided receipts. Update 4. The retaliation. The next morning I woke up to find my car keyed. A deep scratch from front to back on the driver's side. It went right down to the metal. I checked my security cam. A hooded figure, but I recognized those Nike sneakers. The hot pink ones I bought Jessica for her birthday. I filed a police report. I showed them the footage. They said without seeing her face clearly it would be hard to prove, but they would look into it. Then Jessica made her biggest mistake. She texted me. Hope you like your car's new paint job. That is what you get for humiliating me. Screenshot. Sent to the police. Sent to my insurance. Sent to my lawyer friend who said, keep that. Trust me. The estimate for repairs came back at $2,400. My insurance would cover it, but I would need to pay the deductible. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I filed small claims court paperwork. But first, one more thing happened. Brandon showed up at my apartment. Not Jessica. Brandon. We need to talk, he said, trying to sound intimidating. He was standing in my doorway looking like he wanted to fight. We really do not. You are harassing Jessica. I haven't contacted her once since she admitted to keying my car. She is fragile right now. Fragile, she did $2,000 in damage to my car. You posted about her online. It is called defending myself. Look, just leave her alone and we will leave you alone. We. Oh, so you are a we now. That is interesting. Tell me more about how nothing happened between you two. His face went red. We are together now. Yeah, so what? You broke up with her. And there it is, the truth finally. How long were you two really talking before I found out? Does it matter now? It does for the small claims court case. Emotional distress, you know, finding out my girlfriend was cheating, not just lying. You cannot prove anything. I held up my phone. Recording, I can now. Thanks for confirming you are together. How long, Brandon? When did it actually start? He realized his mistake. His eyes went wide. You are recording me. That is illegal. One-party consent state. Getty Images, explore, Google it. Completely legal. See you in court. He turned and left without another word. Final update. The judgment. The small claims court date came up 2 weeks later. Jessica showed up with Brandon. Big mistake bringing him. The judge did not like that. It showed exactly where her loyalties lay. I presented the evidence. I was prepared. The security footage of someone in her distinctive shoes keying my car. Her text message admitting to it. Hope you like your car's new paint job. The estimate for repairs, $2,400. Screenshot of her location at Brandon, his apartment during our anniversary. The recording of Brandon admitting they were together now. Text records showing the pattern of cancellations and lies. Jessica tried to argue I had emotionally abused her by posting her location online. The judge looked at her over his glasses. Did you lie about your whereabouts? It was complicated. Yes or no, were you at this man's apartment when you told the plaintiff you were elsewhere? Yes. But, and did you damage his vehicle? I was emotional, he humiliated me. That is a yes. The judge didn't hesitate. Judgment for the plaintiff. $3,000 total. For vehicle damage, court costs, and time off work. Jessica started crying. Brandon stood up. This is bullshit. Sir, sit down or be removed, the judge warned. This is a court of law, not a bar. She cannot afford that. Then she shouldn't have damaged property. Outside the courthouse, Jessica approached me one last time. Grant, please, I cannot pay this. Payment plan is an option. I am sorry, okay? I am sorry for everything. I loved you. No, Jessica, you loved having me as a safety net while you figured things out with Brandon. She looked at the ground. She couldn't even meet my eyes. Yeah, I said, that is what I thought. Brandon stepped forward trying to be the hero. Dude, you won, just let it go. I am letting it go. As soon as she pays what the court ordered. They left. Jessica paid the first installment a month later. $200 a month for the next 15 months. Last I heard through mutual friends, Jessica and Brandon moved in together after 2 months. It didn't last long in the honeymoon phase. She caught him texting his other ex 3 weeks later. They are still together but working through trust issues. The irony is delicious. She tells people I was emotionally abusive and controlling. Most people who know the whole story do not buy it. Me, I got my car fixed, went a Cabo solo, had an amazing time, actually met some cool people, did all the excursions I wanted without compromise. I snorkeled, I hiked, I drank margaritas on the beach without checking my phone once, started dating again after a few months. New woman I am seeing thinks the flower delivery breakup was iconic. Her words. She also appreciated that I handled everything through proper legal channels instead of doing anything crazy. Lessons learned. Trust your gut when patterns change. Location sharing works both ways. Document everything. Screenshots are your best friend. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting someone live with their choices. Always get it in writing when someone admits to property damage. O and Jessica still has 8 payments left. Every month when that $200 hits my account, I think about how she could have just been honest. Could have just broken up with me like an adult. Could have not keyed my car. But hey, something came up right. The funniest part, I still get notifications sometimes. Jessica's payment of $200 has been received. Brandon is probably paying it. The ex she ran to now has to pay for the damage she did over him. Poetic justice maybe. Expensive lesson for her. Definitely. Worth it to find out who she really was before we moved in together. Absolutely. Sometimes the bullet dodges you. You just have to be smart enough to stay out of its way. If you enjoyed this story of legal revenge, hit the subscribe button. We talk about boundaries, self-respect, and handling toxic situations here on Story Sparks. Thanks for watching.